practice English in a simple, direct, and useful way for real-life situations.
In today's video, we're going to talk about a super important topic, how to learn English.
That's right. We'll be sharing how you can use everyday conversations to boost your English skills with lots of practical examples and useful phrases.
If you're looking to take your English to the next level, this video is for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's unpack this. Talking about your daily routine is one of the most common and, well, useful things you can do when learning English.
Yeah, definitely. It's perfect for practicing common verbs, time expressions, all that basic stuff.
And just introducing yourself, right? Explaining who you are through your day.
Absolutely. It helps you share your habits, lifestyle, and even a bit of your personality. Plus, it's a great way to start a conversation. Almost anyone can relate.
Totally. So let's dive into the morning. What's the very first thing you usually do when you start your day?
Okay, well, for me, the very first thing I do is wake up. Sounds obvious, right?
Huh? Yeah, gotta start somewhere.
I usually wake up around 6:30.
Wow, 6:30. You're an early bird. I usually wake up around 7:0, maybe 7:15 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, well, depends on the day. After I wake up, I actually, get out of bed.
Yes, the getting out of bed part. That's a very important phrase, isn't it? Get out of bed. Commitment.
It is. Get out of bed.
Yeah.
Big step. After that, I go to the bathroom. Pretty standard.
Right.
I brush my teeth and wash my face. These are like super common actions, good verbs to know.
So true. Brush my teeth and wash my face.
Mhm.
Essential vocabulary right there. Then I usually head to the kitchen. What about you? What do you do in the kitchen in the morning?
In the kitchen, yeah, same. I usually make breakfast, or at least get breakfast started. What do you usually have for breakfast? That's a good conversation starter, too.
Oh, definitely. I often have coffee and toast.
Mm.
Pretty simple. Sometimes I eat fruit, too, maybe like a banana or an apple. Keep it easy.
Simple and delicious. I usually have tea, actually, not coffee.
Yes.
And maybe some cereal or oatmeal. Nice and easy.
Tea. Interesting. Okay, so after breakfast, what's next?
Right. After breakfast, I get dressed. That means, I put on my clothes for the day.
Exactly. Get dressed. Another key phrase. I choose my clothes for the day and put them on. And what do you do after you get dressed? Still more morning routine.
Well, yeah, usually. If I need to go out, like to the office, I might put on my shoes and maybe grab a jacket, depending on the weather.
Right. Put on shoes, put on a jacket. Good ones.
Then I leave the house and go to work. That's if I'm going out. I sometimes work from home, but other times I do go to an office.
Okay, that's a great summary of a typical morning routine. And think about all the important verbs we just used.
Yeah, there were quite a few.
Let's see. Wake up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my face.
Go to the kitchen, make breakfast, have breakfast.
Get dressed, put on shoes, put on a coat or jacket, leave the house, go to work. Wow.
Yeah, those are super useful verbs for beginners. Really core stuff for talking about your day.
Definitely. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, like how daily life actually is, you can talk about how your morning routine has changed over time. For example, has yours changed much?
Oh, absolutely. My morning routine has changed a lot since having kids. It's way less predictable now.
Huh. Tell me about it. Here's where it gets really interesting, right? The routine might change, but the need to talk about it, the questions you ask, they stay the same. The biggest thing for me is school now, getting kids ready for school.
Oh, yeah. School run definitely dictates the morning.
Before, when we didn't have kids, it was, well, quieter. I don't even really remember what life was like then. I think I just drank my tea quietly, maybe read the news.
Laughs quietly. Yeah, that sounds about right. Now, you're always multitasking, aren't you? Like trying to read something, maybe feed a baby, drink your tea all at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just more going on all the time.
Yeah.
But even with the chaos, there are still parts I really enjoy. For me, it's those moments with my tea. Or coffee. For coffee drinkers, I have a morning tea and an afternoon tea, and I try to really, cling to those moments when I can. Just 5 minutes of quiet.
Yeah, I get that. I also like lunchtime food and drink are always nice breaks, aren't they? And actually, the ride to and from school can be special. I usually listen to something with my son, maybe music or an audiobook, and we chat together. That's become a nice little routine in itself.
Oh, yeah, some quality time together.
Yeah.
That's really important. I think one of the parts of my day that I enjoy the most, maybe surprisingly, is at the end of the day when we all sit down at the table and eat dinner together.
Yeah, family dinner is great.
And we often ask each other a really simple question. What was the best part of your day?
Oh, that's a wonderful tradition. We should do that more. Sometimes for our kids, the best part of their day is literally this meal right now because they just live totally in the moment. It's kind of nice.
It is, isn't it? So simple. Okay, so moving on from the morning rush, let's talk about what we do during the main part of the day. Work, chores, that kind of thing. What do you typically do at work? For people learning, describing work is really common.
Yeah, it is. At work, I usually sit at my desk, standard stuff, and work on my computer. Lots of computer time. I answer emails. Sometimes I write reports, things many people do in office jobs.
That's right. Very relatable. Sometimes I also have meetings with my colleagues. Meetings, that's a key word. Meetings are, when people get together to talk about work projects or issues.
Exactly. And meetings can be in person or online now, right? If I work from home, I also sit at my desk, use my computer. Maybe I write articles or prepare lessons, things like that. And sometimes I have online meetings using, Zoom or Teams or whatever.
Very useful phrases there. Answer emails, write reports, have meetings, work from home, online meetings, great vocabulary for learners. And then, sometime around the middle of the day, lunchtime. We have lunch. What do you usually eat for lunch?
Lunch. Yeah. I often have a sandwich or maybe a salad, usually something pretty light. I sometimes bring my lunch from home, which is cheaper and often healthier.
Or sometimes you go out to eat?
Yeah, sometimes I go out to eat, maybe grab something quick nearby. Depends on the day.
That's nice, a little break. After lunch, we usually go back to work until, the end of the workday. And what happens after work? What's the transition like?
After work, the best part, I usually go home. That feeling of heading home. Oh, it's great.
It really is, isn't it? Go home. Simple phrase, big feeling. When I get home, sometimes the first thing I do is just relax on the sofa for a bit, maybe watch TV or just sit quietly for 10 minutes.
That sounds nice and relaxing. Definitely needed sometimes. Other times, I might start to cook dinner fairly soon after getting home.
Oh, you cook. What do you like to cook?
Hmm.
Asking about cooking is another good conversational topic.
Yeah, I enjoy cooking sometimes. I like to cook pasta dishes, or maybe I'll make a simple soup, especially if it's cold out. Pasta, soup. Delicious and usually not too complicated.
Sounds good. I also like to cook dinner sometimes. I enjoy trying new recipes when I have the time and energy.
That's cool. And speaking of home, what about chores? The less fun part of daily life.
Ah, chores. Right. So chores, that's a useful word. It means any work you have to do around the house to keep things running.
Yeah.
Like the classic examples are doing the laundry and washing the dishes.
Doing the dishes, yeah, that's usually my job in our house. We try to be relatively even about splitting chores. So yeah, dishes are mine.
And I mostly do the laundry. Those feel like the two big never-ending ones, right?
Totally. Then there are lots of kid-related chores like giving them a bath, getting them ready for bed, packing lunches.
Oh yeah, the list goes on. You make breakfast and lunch most days. I sometimes make lunch. And dinner is we both make dinner, depending on the day.
We have that meal plan thing, right? That helps a lot with dinner, like Miso Monday or Taco Tuesday. Takes the guesswork out.
Yes.
Yes.
That routine is so important, especially with kids. Just feeding everyone day after day can feel overwhelming sometimes.
Definitely. And when the kids want to help with chores or cooking, it's chaotic, but it's good for them, I guess.
It is. Messy, but good.
Mhm.
This raises an important point, though. For us, we're both working parents, so we try to split things relatively evenly. But for other families, maybe with a stay-at-home parent, the roles and the division of chores would look really different.
That's a really insightful point. It's a huge amount of work, either way, paid or unpaid. Just managing a household is a job in itself.
Absolutely. And speaking of kids and managing the household,
Yeah.
screen time, how much TV do your kids watch per day? This is a big topic for parents.
Yeah, it is. For us, our children don't watch any TV if they're going to school that day. We figure they had enough stimulation.
Okay.
We usually just read a book to them or maybe do something outside if the weather's nice. Go for a walk, play in the yard.
And because it's not a regular habit for them on school days, they don't really ask for it much, which is actually really nice. You avoid the begging.
Exactly. That's the goal. On non-school days, weekends, or holidays, they're allowed to watch maybe 30 minutes, perhaps an hour, just one day a week. But the important thing for us is choosing what they watch. We want to make sure our kids are being exposed to good stuff, like, educational cartoons or shows with positive messages.
Content curation,
Right.
not just passive watching. That routine of no TV on school days has been really good for us, too. And honestly, for myself, when I've had a really busy day, I need to decompress, right? But if I just jump into media, like watching TV or scrolling on my phone, I find I just don't feel as calm afterwards, like stimulating noise.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It doesn't always relax you.
And I don't want my kids to learn that that's the main way you decompress, by just zoning out in front of a screen.
That's a good point. Modeling different ways to unwind. Okay, let's shift back to food, because that's always a fun topic.
Hmm.
What kind of meals specifically do you cook for your family? Starting with breakfast.
Well, you mentioned cereal or oatmeal for you.
Yeah.
For the kids,
Ah, well, when our backyard chickens were actually laying eggs consistently, I cooked eggs pretty much every single day, scrambled or fried, usually with a piece of toast and jam. Simple protein. If not eggs, then yeah, oatmeal is the fallback. Works every time.
classic. Easy and filling. And for lunch, what about that? You mentioned sandwiches or salads. For yourself, what about for the kids?
On a school day, I'll usually pack a sandwich of some kind for my son. Or I'll send leftovers from dinner the night before, which I actually prefer. Less work in the morning.
Leftovers are the best. For lunch, especially when we're all home, like on a weekend, I often make what I call a munchie lunch.
Ah, yes. The famous munchie lunch.
Laugh is, it's basically just one big plate or platter with lots of different things on it. Maybe some bread or crackers, different spreads like hummus, olives, cut up carrots, apple slices, little pieces of cheese, maybe some nuts. Everyone just picks and chooses what they want. It's easy and usually pretty healthy.
She is the queen of the munchie lunch, that's for sure. It's always a hit.
And for dinner, we have that meal plan you mentioned, like Miso Monday or tacos. On Tuesdays, we call them Vanessa-style tacos because we put anything in them. We do breakfast tacos, sometimes beef tacos, fish tacos, sweet potato tacos. Gets creative. We also make lots of soup and salads, especially using stuff from the garden when we can.
Yeah, we just made that big pot of borscht yesterday. Lots of veggies.
It was so good. You know, what's fascinating here, thinking about food in the U.S., is that we don't really have one single American cuisine with a super long unified history like some other countries do.
That's true. It's very regional and diverse.
So I think people here often struggle with knowing what to eat or what to make for dinner every night. There isn't always a strong cultural default.
Yeah, like maybe in some cultures it's just assumed you'll have rice with every meal or a certain type of soup. We don't have that same kind of universal staple.
And maybe that lack of a strong shared food tradition makes people more susceptible to like fad diets
Yeah.
because they don't have that deep cultural foundation of we eat rice and kimchi every day for breakfast, for example.
Yeah. You're right. It's not like you're suddenly eating, I don't know, 4 pounds of watermelon for breakfast just because some diet guru said so. You're probably sticking closer to traditional patterns elsewhere.
Exactly. So for us, we just try to prioritize healthy food, eating together as much as possible, and including our kids in the cooking, even if it gets a little hectic and messy sometimes. It's about trying to slow down and prioritize those essentials.
Good philosophy. Speaking of kids and food, what meals make your family, especially the kids, say that they think they've died and gone to heaven? Like the absolute favorites.
Oh, that's a fun question. For our kids, honestly, half of the things we make seem to make them say, this is amazing. They genuinely love food. They're very good non-picky eaters, thankfully. They eat pretty much everything. They absolutely loved the borscht yesterday.
Wow, borscht lovers. That's impressive.
I think the only meal Theo, our older one, doesn't really like is fried rice for some reason.
Oh.
And he doesn't like shiitake mushrooms. That's about it.
That's pretty good. They really like my homemade pizza. I
Yeah.
mean, hard not to like pizza, right? But they also love the miso soup, the tacos, most soups and salads, actually.
Mm.
They'll even go out to the garden and grab handfuls of raw kale or cabbage and just munch on it.
They definitely enjoy it a lot more if they pick it themselves. That connection makes a difference. And for us, as adults, when we manage to go out on a date, we love going to a restaurant that serves unique food, things we don't normally cook at home.
Hmm.
It's fun to explore, and we try to share that excitement with our kids, too.
Yeah, trying new things is key. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Drinks, specifically coffee or tea. You mentioned you're a tea drinker. For me, coffee is the ritual. What is your favorite type or style of coffee to drink daily?
Ah, this one is definitely for you. You're the coffee expert here.
Laughs. Well, I wouldn't say expert, but I do enjoy it. I usually like a medium roast coffee,
Yeah.
right in the middle, not too light, not too dark. And I tend to like Colombian coffees quite a bit.
Colombian. Okay. Why Colombian?
It's maybe a very cliche kind of coffee, I guess, but they often have a really nice balance, kind of nutty, roasty, sometimes chocolatey notes. Just a good, solid cup of coffee.
Okay, for reference, if someone doesn't know much about roasts and origins, what would you label a big chain like Starbucks as? Are they medium roast?
No. Generally, Starbucks tends to over roast their beans, in my opinion. It's usually a dark, dark roast, very bold, maybe even a bit burnt tasting sometimes.
Ah, okay.
Which is why you often have to put a bunch of milk and sugar and stuff in it to make it taste good for many people. Though some people really enjoy that dark roast profile, like my dad does. It's just a matter of
Yeah,
preference.
preferences. It's
Right.
funny, I definitely see you drink gas station coffee sometimes. How does that fit in?
Laughs. You got me. I kind of like gas station coffee sometimes. It's
Yeah.
terrible, I know. It's
Yeah.
like it's been scientifically engineered in a lab somewhere specifically for truck drivers who need maximum caffeine delivery.
Engineered coffee.
But yeah, at home, I prefer a bit more variety. It's typically sticking to that classic Colombian profile. Nutty, roasty, chocolatey, comforting.
And as I said, I don't like coffee. I stick to black tea. It has caffeine, sure, but coffee, especially on a regular basis, just makes me feel too jittery and anxious. It's a specific feeling. My soulmates in the world are the other people who understand that feeling from coffee.
Yeah, you seem very sensitive to it, I guess. Very acclimated to your tea.
I think so. The only time I've ever genuinely liked coffee and drank a whole cup was when we were in Costa Rica, remember? From that one specific
Oh,
farm.
yeah, I remember that. It was exceptionally smooth.
It was so smooth, not bitter at all, not too acidic. It was just perfect.
Right.
So yeah, maybe I am the pickiest coffee non-drinker of all. Needs to be Costa Rican single origin perfection or nothing.
Laughs. Fair enough. Okay, moving towards the end of the day. Evening routines and leisure time. How do you practice English or just unwind in your free time? Let's talk about evening routines first. What do you typically do at night when you are, getting ready to wind down and go to sleep?
Good question. Evenings.
I don't really think I have much of a specific nighttime routine, to be honest. I mean, obviously I brush my teeth, sometimes I'll take a shower, but other than that, especially with young children making me tired, I'm the kind of guy who just kind of hits the pillow and falls asleep pretty quickly nowadays. No elaborate rituals here. I'm just ready for sleep.
You're really tired. I get that. I try to tidy up a little bit after the kids go to bed, maybe load the dishwasher or wipe the counters. It just makes the morning feel less chaotic.
Smart. Paying it forward to your future self.
Exactly. Then I usually read a book, like a physical book. Or sometimes lately I've been really into listening to an audiobook, which is very exciting. It feels like less effort when I'm tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I'm usually kind of zonked by the end of the day too.
Now you take a shower. You mentioned showering sometimes.
Maybe. Some people say it's actually not healthy to shower every single day, so maybe we're just following health advice.
That's right.
Laugh.
Laughs. Right. That's our excuse. But yeah, nighttime generally feels a little more relaxed than the morning rush, doesn't it? Because in the morning, you're managing multiple people's schedules.
Totally. Evening is more about winding down yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about hobbies and activities, specifically reading. Do you have much time for reading these days? Like actual books, not work stuff or kids' stories. What's the last book you read?
Okay, let's unpack this. Do I have much time for reading? Technically, yes, the time exists, but have I actually finished an adult book in a long time? Probably not.
Oh, really?
I start a lot of books, but then I tend to get distracted, watch videos, take care of the kids. Life happens. I do listen to children's audiobooks with my son quite a bit, and I read a lot of picture books and storybooks to them every night.
Okay.
But those are, children's books. Doesn't quite count for my reading, does it?
Okay, well, I do know someone who reads a lot, and that's me. I try to make time for it. At any given time, I'm probably reading like 3 different books simultaneously. Depends on my mood.
3 at once. Wow.
Yeah. I just finished listening to one of the most amazing audiobooks. It was called Endurance. It's about Ernest Shackleton's failed Antarctic exploration from the early 1900s.
Oh, I think you told me about that one. The ship gets stuck in the ice.
Yes. And it's considered like the greatest survival story of all time. And it's 100% true, based on diaries and records. Just incredible resilience. Highly recommend it, especially the audiobook version.
See, she tells me all about them, so I don't even need to read them myself. I get the condensed version. I read vicariously through her.
Laughs. Happy to provide the service. But this raises an important question for learners, right? How do you find time to learn English or pursue hobbies like reading when life is just so busy with work, family, everything else?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
For me, one thing that really helped, practically speaking, was I deleted most social media apps off of my phone a while back.
Oh, interesting. Cold turkey.
Pretty much. And I found that I significantly upped my reading time when I did that. Because in those little pockets of free time waiting in line, before bed, my like animal brain just wanted that quick hit of dopamine, like watching a short YouTube video or scrolling through Instagram.
Right, the path of least resistance.
Exactly. So you consciously made a choice to make it harder to access that easy, distracting content. You added friction.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. I try to watch YouTube videos or browse distracting sites only on my computer or a laptop, something that's not instantly accessible in my pocket, something where you have to consciously choose to sit down and open it up.
That makes sense.
And honestly, that has helped me so much to reclaim time for things like reading. I'm also currently reading a book called Braiding Sweetgrass, which is beautiful, and another one called The Highly Sensitive Person. Lots on the go.
Okay, impressive. If we're counting audiobooks, then the last really impactful one I listened to with our son, actually, was Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly entertaining, even for me as an adult. And very historically interesting, thinking about pioneer life. We tried Anne of Green Gables too, but it was a bit too wordy for him at the time. Maybe we'll try again later.
Yeah, gotta match the book to the audience. What about online comments? Like on our videos, do you consider reading comments distracting or is it more like extra work or something else?
I don't usually read the comments, no. But I notice you respond to quite a lot of them. How do you manage that?
I try to. I try to read comments on the most recent videos, maybe for the first day or two after they're posted. And I aim to respond to about, say, 10 comments for each video if I can. I actually really enjoy reading them,
Yeah.
especially when people say things like, my English has improved by watching your videos, or this explanation really helped me understand. That is literally my goal as a teacher, you know? So that's incredibly rewarding.
So you're not looking for praise necessarily, like great video.
No, not really. I mean, praise is nice, but I try really hard not to base my self-worth on other people's opinions online or on social media metrics like, oh, this got 3,000 likes. But hearing about personal change or genuine learning, that's really special, that feels meaningful.
That makes sense. It leads to another big question, though. How do you balance it all? How do you have time to prepare these videos, engage with comments, and still be present with your family? Seems like a lot.
It is a lot. Honestly, the only way my job, this channel, still exists now that we have kids is that there are other wonderful people on my team who help make it happen. It's not just me anymore.
Right, the team.
We have someone who helps manage emails, someone who helps format and edit the PDFs that go with the lessons, someone who edits these videos.
The video editing part used to be me before kids.
Exactly. Now we can diversify. And consider helping out sometimes. My personal goal is to try really hard not to work in the evening after the kids go to bed. I try to protect that family time.
That's important.
So I delegate tasks where I can, allowing me to focus on what I do best, which is teaching and creating the core content, like making these videos for all of you watching.
Delegation is key. Okay, what about working out? Physical activity. Do you have time or energy to work out with managing the house, the YouTube channel, your teaching, and the kids?
That's a good question. Do you? I see you heading out sometimes.
Actually, yes. Lately, I've been running, which is kind of new for me. I was never really a runner before.
Oh, wow. How's that going?
It's hard sometimes.
Hmm?
It's definitely hard to find the motivation, especially after a long day.
Yeah.
But I found that if I actually push myself to go for a run, it usually feels really good afterwards, especially if I put on some music or a podcast in my headphones. It's like my own time.
I totally understand that. When you're surrounded by people a lot, like with kids or in a classroom, just going to the gym or going for a run, listening to your own stuff, lifting some weights, it can feel really calming. It's nice to do something just by yourself, for yourself.
You might even go to the gym and find her punching a punching bag. Very therapeutic.
Labs, it feels really good sometimes just to like exert physical energy, especially going at night sometimes when it's dark out and I go to the gym and I see other people out running or walking. It makes me think, oh, it's only 8 o'clock. Other people's days aren't over yet. Things are still happening. It's a weirdly nice feeling.
Yeah, that sense of shared, quiet activity. Okay, simpler things now. Let's talk about the weather. Always a safe topic for small talk practice. What kind of weather do you like?
Oh, easy. Sunny weather. Definitely. Where we live, the weather is actually really mild most of the year, which is nice.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Our summers get hot, sure, but it's usually not unbearable humidity or anything. We get maybe a couple days of snow in the winter, which is fun.
Just enough to be exciting.
Exactly. And sometimes we get a couple of weeks in the middle of winter that feels surprisingly like spring. It's weird, but pleasant.
I agree. I like mild weather, too. Not too hot, not too cold. A nice snowy day is fun, but like maybe twice a year is perfect.
Yeah.
Any more than that is annoying.
Agreed.
My ideal weather is probably like partly cloudy, so you get a little bit of shade, maybe a nice breeze, warm but not hot.
And crucially, no mosquitoes yet. Basically perfect conditions.
Yes, mosquitoes ruin everything. Okay, how about movies or TV shows? What kind do you typically watch when you have time?
We don't really watch movies very often, do
Oh,
we?
really?
I'm probably not the most fun person to watch a movie with anyway. I tend to make comments or critique the plot holes.
Laskin.
Yeah.
You're pretty quiet during Bohemian Rhapsody, though. I was impressed.
Yeah, it was okay. Well made, I guess. Generally, I'm a tough critic, unless it's just pure silly humor. We do watch Bob's Burgers pretty regularly.
Yes, Bob's Burgers is great,
Yeah.
and The Great British Baking Show. Those are our mainstays.
Yeah, those feel more low commitment, you know? A movie is like a 2-hour investment. And at the end of a long day, I often don't want to commit to watching something serious or complex for 2 hours straight.
I feel the same way. I think maybe when our kids get older, I'll enjoy watching movies more, like family movie nights. But for now, unless it's maybe Thomas the Tank Engine or something animated, it's not really happening.
And honestly, I often don't really like the feel of a lot of modern Hollywood movies. Too much happens that isn't properly explained or doesn't make sense. Just a big spectacle.
Yes, sometimes story gets lost.
Yeah.
If you watching have a movie that you absolutely love, especially one with great dialogue for English practice, let us know in the comments. Maybe it's a movie we could actually watch and enjoy together.
Yeah.
We're definitely not the experts when it comes to movies and TV shows.
No, definitely not.
I tend to like well-loved classics like Forrest Gump or Shawshank Redemption, movies with heart.
In college, I really liked Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That one stuck with me.
Okay, last category for daily life. What do you do in your free time with the kids? Like fun activities together.
Ah, fun with the kids. Well, for my youngest son, Theo, it's often still very physical. He needs that physical time, so I'll wrestle with him on the floor or throw him gently onto the bed. He absolutely loves that roughhousing.
He does. And our older son is generally a lot more crafty and focused. He likes to do puzzles, play board games, draw, and color. So I'll often sit down and do that kind of calmer activity with him.
It's usually happening at the same time, right? I'm throwing the
Wow.
younger one around while you're carefully coloring inside the lines with the older one. A good balance of chaos and calm.
Exactly. We also do lots of dirt stuff together, as we call it, like digging in the dirt in the garden, planting seeds or seedlings, pulling weeds.
Or just walking in the woods behind the house, turning over logs and looking under leaves to see what bugs we can find.
Yes. We try to be outside as much as possible, maybe like 80% of the time when we're at home and the weather's decent.
It definitely improves their mood, and mine too, just being outside in the fresh air.
For sure. When I want to do something fun with the kids, like an outing, we usually go to a park that has some nature, like woods or a creek where we can skip rocks and splash in the water. We're actually not really big fans of specifically kids' places like indoor playgrounds or most children's museums.
They do like swings, though. Swings are always popular.
Swings are okay, yeah. But I think those really busy, stimulating places like some kids' museums where there are just so many activities and noises and people,
Mhm.
I feel overwhelmed there, personally.
Hmm.
And I notice my kids often get overwhelmed too. They just end up crying or fussing afterwards. It's too much input.
Yeah, sensory overload is real, so slower, more nature-based activities tend to be better for our family.
Yes. Generally, that's what I prefer to do. Maybe invite one of their friends to go on a hike with us or meet at a park with a nice open field. Simple is often better.
Agreed. Okay, that covers a lot of daily life. Ready for the last big question?
I think so. Hit me with it.
All right. Drum roll. Do you feel like you're a different woman after having 3 children?
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about everything, maturity, maybe empathy, changes in your hobbies, what media you consume, your daily decisions, even things like estrogen levels. All of it.
That's a deep one. You know, they say that when a man is near a baby or spends a lot of time around children, his testosterone levels actually tend to go down.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't heard that specific link.
Yeah. And he thus becomes maybe more caring and tender. One might even playfully say more womanly. So maybe the changes aren't just for the person giving birth.
Ah, that's a really fascinating point. Hormonal shifts for everyone involved. Well, to answer your question about me, the answer is obviously yes. Of course I am a different woman after having 3 kids. It changes you fundamentally.
Yeah, I imagine so.
There's that beautiful phrase that says, when a baby is born, a mother is born too. It really feels like that. It's a completely page-turning event in your life story.
A page-turning event. I like that metaphor. And it raises an important question, doesn't it? We all experience these kinds of page-turning events in life that change us in significant ways, not just having children.
Exactly. Whether it was your first day of school or maybe moving to a new city or losing someone close to you, starting a new career, These are all moments that can reshape who you are.
Absolutely.
And with your first child especially, a page has definitely been turned, and there's just no going back to the person you were before. There are physical changes, sure, but also huge emotional and, yes, hormonal changes. You are still you deep down, but you're definitely a different version, maybe a different flavor of you.
A different flavor of you. I like that.
And I think it's often your choice, consciously or unconsciously, if these massive changes will shape you for the better or, lead to more struggle. You have some agency in how you integrate the change.
That's a really important point, the agency in response to change.
Yeah.
What about the third child? Was that as big a shift as the first?
For the third child, well, I can only speak for myself, but for me, it feels more like our family is now complete. She's like the little cherry on top of the sundae. It didn't feel like quite the same earth-shattering identity shift as the first.
Right.
But I definitely think the biggest change, the most profound page turn, is having your very first kid. That transition from not being a mother to being a mother, that's the biggest one, for sure.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That initial transformation is huge. Wow.
Well, we've covered so many useful everyday actions and shared some real practical conversations today. Hopefully, this gives you, our listeners, a great model for how you can use these topics to learn and practice your own English.
Definitely. Remember, you can use all these phrases and topics to talk about your own day. Try to think about what you do from the moment you wake up until you go to bed. And try saying it out loud in English. That's fantastic practice.
You can even write it down first. Sometimes writing things out can help you remember the words and phrases better. And please, don't worry if you don't know all the words yet. That's totally normal. Just try your best, use the words you know, and you'll learn more and more each day.
Exactly. Learning a new language takes time and consistent practice. The key is to be patient with yourself and to celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. Every new word or phrase learned is a victory.
We really hope you found this deep dive into daily routines helpful for your English learning.
It was actually really fun talking about our daily routines and how they've changed.
It was, yeah. Good reflection.
To our wonderful listeners, thank you so much for joining us today on English Practice Lab. We really appreciate you being here and spending this time with us.
Yes, thank you. We love sharing this journey with you.
If you enjoyed this deep dive and found it helpful for your English, please leave a comment below. We'd love it if you could share your biggest difficulty with learning English right now, and also maybe tell us what topics you'd like to see us cover here in future videos. We really love to hear from you.
Yeah, your feedback helps us make better content for you. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future lessons or deep dives.
That's right. Hit that subscribe button. And please share this video with anyone you know who is also learning English. Friends, family, classmates. It would mean a lot to us if you help spread the word.
So until next time, keep practicing your English